Commanders for real, we don't know how to act. Yeah, I'm pointing out facts. If I point a finger, that's point of attack. He'll point who's next. Flag on the plate, now I'm causing them dead. We bet on ourselves, so what you expect? A die-hard fan, never live with regret. Yes, sir. Go to my neck. Go to my neck. Burgundy flex. Who wants to smoke? We bringing it home. Be my guest. Look how we step. Who we got next? Step on the right, step on the left. Who do we rep? Commanders. Where's my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where's my soldiers? Left side. Commanders. Where's my soldiers? Right in the middle. Commanders. Where's my soldiers? High off the way that this sound, they turn up as soon as they feet the ground. I am not playing around. I hit them, I bet that they feeling me now.
Welcome, one and all across the nation and around the world. I welcome you all to episode 30 of the Commanders Gridiron Report here on October 25th, 2024. I'm your host, Drew Willingham, and I am back to discuss the past week in Commanders Gridiron football action with Week 7, with what they did against the Panthers in that routing of a 40-7 game, as well as a preview for Week 2's game against the Bears, both of these being at home. Northwest Stadium. I will actually be in attendance this Sunday as they play the Bears, getting a little bit more about that as we go through this show on October 25th, 2024. Thank you as always for tuning in, as this show is brought to you by
SHOWSTOPPER Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
the same logo that's on the hat right here that just came in the mail this week, as well as something else that just came in today that I will share for the first time on SHOWSTOPPER Media Programming, as I will be trying this out this weekend at the game. But microphone covers came in today. You can see the SHOWSTOPPER Media logo. Haven't taken out the plastic, but you put your microphone in there. And SHOWSTOPPER Media is all the way around. Shout out to the distributors for that. The hat, the shirts, everything else you can get on the websites that are attached to the YouTube channel. You can have a hat like this. This is the original shirt. Can't get this anymore. This is OG status. Got to get a new polo. Can't have that, but you can have the hat. You can probably get the microphone cover if you really need it, but you would need to be working with us in order to have that. There'd be a little bit conflict of interest. But yes, this is a cool box that I get to open here. Get to open a couple other cool things at the game on Sunday. There'll be some content that I'll be able to provide to you next week on this show, on Total Football Talk as well, from the game this weekend. But with that being said, let's go ahead and preview the previous game before we get to the upcoming game with the 1st and 10.
They are the Washington Commanders. New name, new marks, new uniform.
Soldiers, are we ready for Operation Burgundy?
And here with the 1st and 10, we take a look at the Week 7 contest as the Carolina Panthers came into town to face the Washington Commanders, losing 40-7 to the Commanders, as the away team being the Panthers. They have been a dumpster Pelican team to watch throughout this season. I mean, what's new when it comes to the tale of woe, led by the ownership of David Tepper and company? When you look at this team coming in, what they were about, they weren't about much, which is why they lost 40-7, and they have fallen to 1-6 on the season. Not really too much of a surprise, being that when it comes to this Carolina Panthers team, looking at it for what it is. Are you surprised? Let me know here in the comments. You tell me, are you surprised that the Carolina Panthers lost 40-7 to the Washington Commanders in this Week 7 game? Let me know here in the comments. Don't be shy. Talk to me. Let me know. I will bring up those comments on the screen as we are live. Now, with that being that 40-7 routing that we saw here for the 1st and 10, we need to keep this thing going as we want to look at the review of it, as we have to take things to the Burgundy Flex review to get that started, and we have to take it to this transition to get us there.
Yes, go to my neck, Burgundy Flex. Who wants the smoke? We bringing it home. Be my guest.
Here at the Burgundy Flex Review, we take a look at the highlights from this past week as the Commanders commanded through and throughout this game. Looking at these pictures that we have, shout out to the photographers out there getting this done. It started off with them establishing the run. This was early in the game when Jaden Daniels was still there in that first drive, handing it off to Brian Robinson Jr. Establishing the run with Robinson Jr. helped throughout this game as he had 12 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown on the day. You also got to take a look at what Jaden Daniels was able to accomplish in his little time in the game. You know, looking at what he did, he was 2 of 2 on his passes for 6 yards. He also ran the ball 3 times for a total of 50 yards on the day. But the big story from him was this hit that he took that obviously damaged his ribs a little bit. The results of that, of him walking off the field, it wasn't looking good at first for the Commanders. This right here has been exactly what I have been afraid of and I have discussed throughout this season on this show. I even discussed it back when they drafted him during the episode where I reviewed the NFL draft and the Commanders picks throughout that earlier on this season in the offseason. Now, looking at it now, you know, the reports are good. You know, there's no fractures or anything, and there's a lot going on within that. But the question still remains until we get to game time. Is he truly going to play or is he truly going to be a scratch? And if you have any insider information on that, let me know down here in the comments because I'm giving you all the insight that I have seen until this point in the day on Friday, October 25th, 2024. But yes, that right there, Dante Fowler Jr. was a big part of this game. But looking at this right here, it was definitely a crushing blow. But he did come back all smiles later in the game after getting checked out in the locker room. So it does look promising for the rest of the season. But upcoming with the Chicago Bears, it may be bleak, and we may see Marcus Mariota in there, and hopefully he can put some shines of greatness in this game. We'll have to see. But in this past game, Frankie Louvu was tearing it up, as this is one of his sacks that he had on the day. Oh, Louvu did his job over there on that side of the ball for defense, putting up 2 tackles with 2 assists, and this sack that he had on Andy Dalton on the day. Look at the celebration that he had after that sack. He was definitely hyped for what he did for the defense. Dante Fowler Jr., though, he probably did the slowest of all interception returns, slowest of all pick six I have ever seen. Looked like he was running in slow motion, but got it done in this game as he had this pick that you see. And after that, he took it to the house, hands up in the air, having a great time in this routing of the Panthers with this interception for a pick six. Helps this team get to the point in which they were at a 27-0 lead at halftime. Looking at what he did right here with the sack on Andy Dalton also helped contribute to his stance and his impact for this team's defense. Had 2 tackles on the day with this one sack right here and the interception we previously covered to help the Commanders with their decisive victory. Marcus Mariota, though, doing things we have not seen Marcus Mariota do since earlier on in his career. Did it with the Commanders in this week as he puts up a pass right here, uses his legs to extend the chains right here as well, and also throws this ball right here as he's looking for old Zach Ertz for the TD, and he gets that TD right here with Zach Ertz in this moment in the game that helps get the Commanders to a 40-7 victory at the end of it all. 27-0 going into halftime. Team puts up another 10 points in the third quarter. They're up 37-0 after 3 quarters. They were absolutely routing this team in this game. And then, of course, the Panthers won the fourth quarter. Congratulations, 7-3. But you still lost 40-7. Okay, you were losing 37-0 at that point. It was a gimme score. The Panthers have a lot of work to do if they ever want to get back to the relevance of what they were 9 years ago when they got their team to the Super Bowl after the 2015 season into the early 2016 playoffs. Okay, Look at it for what it is. You say what you want right here and there, but I'm telling you this. This team is an absolute dumpster fire.
Acknowledge me.
Not as bad as the the Cowboys aren't as bad as the Panthers. I was a little bit ahead of myself, but they are a total. That being the Panthers, they took a big fat. Talk to the average Panthers player. They are probably not enjoying their status on this Panthers team, knowing that they are and they really need to.
Stop it. Get some help.
I mean, is this a total
surprise, motherfucker,
or not? I mean, let me know here in the comments. What do you think? Things are pretty bleak over there in Carolina. It is not looking that bad for Washington at this point, despite the little bit of woes in the injury department. Jonathan Allen, then, of course, what we have with Jaden Daniels. But here and now, for what we saw in this game against the Carolina Panthers, you have to be happy if you are a Commanders fan. You also have to be really sad if you are a fan of the Panthers. So there's two sides of the story in this one. What do you guys think, though, after watching this game? I mean, are you excited for the Commanders after seeing what they've done through 7 weeks, now going into week 8? Yes, there are question marks around the quarterback position. But in this game right here, they solidified that they have some decent insurance with Marcus Mariota. Regardless of who plays, I'm going to leave you a question before we go to a commercial break that I'd like to see you guys answer, whether you're watching on Team MBS Media on YouTube, on Sartoba Media throughout multiple platforms, or on A7BN Sports. If you're watching this right now, after looking at what we just looked at for the Week 7 contest between the Panthers and the Commanders, do you think with the insurance policy of Marcus Mariota that this team can beat the Bears this week if he is the one summoned to be the quarterback that leads this team to the promised land of week 8? Not the total promised land. I'm talking about just the promised land of week 8. What are your thoughts? Let me know here in the comments, and I will acknowledge them after this next commercial break that we have, as we still have to take a look at the Soldiers of the Week, the Showstopper, the opponent of this upcoming week, and the final drive. We'll go through all that and much more after this first commercial break.
Commanders, where my soldiers, right side. Commanders, where my soldiers, left side.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look. Hey, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie Bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. Hey, $ DWillie87. Go ahead, hit him up on the Cash App, and go ahead and give him some Willie Bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie Bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. How about some Willie Bucks?
Sartoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings
for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central on the Surtoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
Commanders, where my soldiers, right side. Commanders, where my soldiers, left side.
Welcome back to the Commanders Gridiron Report, episode 30, here on October 25th, 2024, as we are reviewing the Week 7 action and previewing the Week 8 action as well. I'm your host, Drew Willingham, as we are here to discuss the Washington Commanders and much more for this team. And let's get it started after this first commercial break with the Soldiers of the Week.
Where my soldiers, right side. Commanders, where my soldiers, left side.
With that being said, we got to start it off with the honorable mentions from this Week 7 game. Start off with Brian Robinson Jr., 12 carries for 71 yards on the day and a rushing touchdown from this past Week 7 game. You got to take a look at what he did there, and that's why I had to give him one of the acknowledgments for the honorable mentions of the Soldiers of the Week, and that being Brian Robinson Jr. Now, taking it to our actual picks for the Soldiers of the Week, let's take a look at Dante Fowler Jr. Even though that was the slowest returned touchdown pick six I've ever seen in my mother-fathering life, Dante Fowler Jr.'s return touch for that interception definitely sparked that defense to contain the Panthers to only 7 points throughout this game. His 2 tackles and his sack on Andy Dalton also helped as well. Terry McLaurin, 6 receptions for 98 yards on the day were an absolute spark to the offense that helped with the production of getting some other scores out of Zach Ertz as well as Ben Sinnott in the tight ends. But we also have to take a look at Marcus Mariota stepping in for the injured Jaden Daniels. 18 of 23 on the day, 205 passing yards with 2 passing touchdowns along with 11 carries for 34 yards. Didn't think I would see that out of Marcus Mariota. Did you think that you would see that? Let me know here in the comments if you believed that he would do this if given the chance, or is this just a fluke because they were playing the Panthers in this past week's contest. 4 players, 1 honorable mention, 3 stars for our picks for our Soldiers of the Week. What do you think here for these choices? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Should one else been in there for the honorable mention? Do you like the pick? What do you think? Let us know as we are live between Team MBS Media, Surtoba Media, and A7BN Sports right here and now for the Soldiers of the Week. That's our choice for the Week 7 action. And now it is time that we get to where we begin to preview the upcoming week for Week 8's action as we take it to the showstopper to determine what could be different with this team. What can they improve on from Week 7 to actually get to keep this ball moving in the positive direction of what they've had, bouncing back from the loss they had the previous week? Let's take it into the showstopper where we start breaking that down.
I off the way that this sound, they turn up as soon as they feet the ground. I am not playing around. I hit them, I bet that they feeling me now.
And here with this, what adjustments should the team make to improve from the Week 7 win? Now, looking at it for what it is, you played the Panthers. The other 4 wins that you got before that came against teams that were subpar, not quite as bad as the Panthers, but you look at how it started with the Giants. Even though the Bengals are starting to make a comeback in the win column, they weren't starting out so great either. You know, all of your teams that you've gotten wins against have had sub 500 records at that point. And they've got a good matchup this upcoming week for Week 8 with the Bears. This offense has got to be on point. I mean, through and through, because they're going against a defense in the Bears that is no joke. Their offense led by Caleb Williams, a rookie who's had a decent rookie season so far, not as electric as Jaden Daniels. He's going to be ready to go too in this game. There's going to be some back and forth, I feel like, with the offense. The defense, I feel like, besides the secondary that I have questions about still at this point in the year, I feel like they'll be able to do a pretty solid job against the Bears offense. It's the offense of the Commanders that I'm concerned about. If they are not led by Jaden Daniels, if they are led by Marcus Mariota, I'm afraid those things that we saw is the negative points of him being a starting quarterback before in Tennessee and in Atlanta be exposed yet again. And then we have to deal with that as the negative thing from this upcoming week. Depending on how things go, because it's not going to be a true answer until we get to game time when it comes to Jaden Daniels. It's not, in that case, he has a chance to play. We know this, okay? There's no 1,000% answer as of yet, but you have to at least anticipate that he's going to sit this week. I mean, I'm anticipating it. So you prep all week with Marcus Mariota taking the QB1 snaps, while Jaden Daniels is still in the background with his VR headset doing the things that he does to prepare for the game. I think with the rest and the way that he's preparing, he'll still have a really good chance of actually playing. But the adjustments that they truly have to make this week, there's only but so much you can do on the defensive side to adjust, as you would have a whole lot more you would have to adjust within your offense if you have a different quarterback in there. And I know you had the success that you did last week, but you were playing the Carolina Panthers. I mean, let's be 100% real with this. The Panthers are a completely different team than the Bears, in which you're facing from week 7 to week 8. Yes, I will be there live in attendance to see it, and I'm looking forward to that. But I'm also going to be very real with you when it comes to how things are going to go. If it's Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams, I feel like the Commanders have a really, really great shot at winning this game. I really do. I really, really do, especially against that Bears defense, because of how he can move within this offense when it comes to the RPO selections of plays, which are like 75% of the plays they run, which gives him the option to run the ball himself or pass it. Or if he feels like it's a better option to hand it off to his running back, he'll hand it off to his running back too, which is why we've had the production out of Brian Robinson Jr. in a positive way this year in Washington. When it comes to this, when it comes to the other side of Marcus Mariota starting at quarterback, it's still a better shot than what they would have if they had Jeff Driscoll or Sam Hartman in there at quarterback. It all depends on his decision-making alone. Marcus Mariota is going to be the X factor of this game if he gets the opportunity to play, and the X factor in the way of either good or either bad. If he's on and he plays like what he did this past week, after having 6 weeks to rest up from the training camp, grueling training camp for one, but also after having 6 weeks of watching and studying how this offense has worked under Jaden Daniels and then mimicking that the best he could last week against a really bad team. But he did get the reps, and he got the reps during practice this week. I feel like the true adjustment this team's going to have to make is going to be on the offensive side and being able to handle the pressure coming from that defensive front, because your old teammate, Montez Sweat, is one of the pillars of that Chicago Bears defense now. And he's going to be coming, because he's going to be coming back home. It's in Washington. It's in Landover. It's in Northwest Stadium. He's coming back to his once home. And he wants to make a statement, as all former players of any team want to make a statement when a team that gave up on you by trading you, even though they knew there was a really good chance they weren't going to be able to re-sign him in the offseason, and it was best to get something for him. Still, in his eyes, the team gave up on you before the end of the year and traded you when you were the sack leader for the team in 2023, and you were the sack leader for the Bears last year. That's how dominant you were. Get a little bit of lighting deficiencies going on over here. My apologies for that. I'll just shift my chair this way to nullify the lightness. But when it comes to this weekend, when it comes to this Commanders team, the X factor is the quarterback position. Whoever plays. If it's Jaden Daniels, the Bears are going to lose. I'm going to go with that right now. Jaden Daniels is going to lead this offense to a win over the Bears if he plays. If Marcus Mariota starts and plays this game, it's going to be question marks that are not going to be answered to me until after the first quarter, possibly into halftime, after watching this live in Northwest Stadium, as I will be, because I'm very concerned. I still remember Marcus Mariota of the 1 year with the Falcons. I still remember the Marcus Mariota that was benched for Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, whether it was fair or not. Marcus Mariota, I remember that version of him in a game against the Carolina Panthers last week, even though you did a really great job. I am not fully sold on you having the ability to lead the offense to a victory over a defense of the caliber in which they are and known as the Chicago Bears. So as we get closer to Sunday and those questions that are still looming as to who is truly going to start when we get to game time at 4:25 p.m. Eastern time, I hope it's Jaden Daniels, and I hope it's if he is ready to go truly, because, again, you don't want him to take another shot and we have deja vu with the rookie quarterback position all over again from 2012 when RG3 went out there too soon. Although it was a different injury, it had to deal with one of his wheels in his knee. Still, ribs you got to take seriously. And although there's no fractures in there, I feel like he can put on a flak jacket, go out there and do a good job and be fine. And he can escape the rush pretty well. But the pressure from this Chicago Bears defense is going to be serious on this day. They're going to be pressing, despite who's back there, quarterback, and you got to play it safe. I will not be mad if Marcus Mariota starts and they sit Jaden Daniels. I truly won't, even though I'm already invested into go into this game this weekend. I won't be upset if Marcus Mariota plays if it's for the benefit of Jaden Daniels, the future of this season, and the future of him in general. I will not be upset if he sits. I will be upset if they put him in the game. His injury gets worse than what it is, and then he's out for several games when he could have just been out for one and then get right back on the horse next week in week 9. And Marcus Mariota, see what they've got with them investing $10 million into him in a contract this offseason, as he was supposed to be the bridge quarterback starting the year. But Jaden Daniels did well enough in OTAs and training camp to sway the management and the coaching staff into believing that he can be a successful rookie quarterback. And he has proven that to be such within the first 7 weeks of the season, within the first 6 weeks of the season, before coming to week 7. And then, of course, getting banged up to where he was only in there for the first drive. So looking at it for what it is, you've got your future of your franchise that is a little banged up, that it wouldn't hurt you to sit this week. But if he is really, truly ready to go, put him out there, because you have a better shot at keeping this winning season going, getting through game 8 with 6 wins out of those 8 than you do with Marcus Mariota at the helm. But again, I won't be mad if you start him to save Jaden Daniels and let him rest a little bit more. We shall see. What do you guys think here in the comments when it comes to the showstopper, when it comes to the Soldiers of the Week picks that we had in this week? As we have one more commercial break we got to get to before we get to the opponent of the week, where we talk about the overall Bears preview in week 8, as well as the final drive. You're tuned in to the Commanders Gridiron Report, brought to you by
SHOWSTOPPER Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
And now we take it to our final commercial break. I'll see you back here in 2 motherfathering minutes.
Commanders, where my soldiers, right side. Commanders, where my soldiers, left side.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Hey, look. Hey, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. Hey, $D Willie 87. Go ahead, hit him up on the Cash App, and go ahead and give him some Willie bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. How about some Willie bucks?
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commanders Gridiron Report. If you want your Commanders to be repped right, well, D. Willie is your man. Commanders Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday at 1:05 p.m. Eastern, 12:05 a.m. Central on the Sertoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J.KUL.
Where my soldiers, right side, Commanders. Where my soldiers, left side, who do we rep? Commanders. Where my soldiers, right side, Commanders. Where my soldiers, left side.
Welcome back to the Commanders Gridiron Report, episode 30, here on October 25th, 2024, Friday before Halloween. Welcome back to the program, as we still got many things left to discuss here on episode Mother Fathering 30. Let's go ahead and take this into the opponent of the week.
Look how we step. Who we got next? Step on the right, step on the left. Who do we rep?
And here for the opponent of the week, October 27th, 2024, this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. The Chicago Bears, who are 4-2, come into town to take on the 5-2 Commanders, who have not had a bye week yet, but the Bears have. Looking at this for what it is, looking at this Bears team, we have to acknowledge the two matchups here. If it is number 1 overall pick from the 2024 NFL draft versus the number 2 overall pick from the NFL draft, this is going to be an electric game. If we look at this game, it's former number 2 overall pick Marcus Mariota from the Titans going against the current number 1 overall pick of the Bears. Doesn't really have as much of an exciting electric ring to it. But here and now, we have to look at it and say, well, just like Ed Bassmaster would say in repetition of what I just said, would you just look at it? Would you just look at the records as they are similar to one another, except for the Bears just had a bye week. And we have to acknowledge when it comes to momentum, how that could help or hurt this team. The Commanders is coming off of a big win off of the Panthers after losing to the Ravens in the way that they did, which was a spark because they played a team of true positive greatness that they could rub off of. Beating the Panthers, getting that win under their belt back against a team that's coming off a bye week. You have to take this serious in the fact of the Commanders have a really good chance of winning this game. Because of 1, the momentum of the win, 2, you lose a little momentum coming off of a bye, even though the Bears had a really big win by 20 points or so with like a 35-15 routing over the actual Jags in that week 6 contest. So the Bears definitely, it's good on them for what they've done so far throughout their 6 games of the year. But my prediction is going to be this. Jaden Daniels starts. The Commanders win, and the Bears lose. Marcus Mariota plays. It's a toss-up because will we get the Marcus Mariota of last week, or will we get the Marcus Mariota of his ending tenure with the Titans / Atlanta Falcons? Because that pressure from the Chicago Bears front is going to definitely get to him. And if Marcus Mariota starts this game on Sunday, there's a really good chance that the Bears win this game by 7 points or more. Jaden Daniels plays, there's a really good chance that the Commanders win by 3 points or more. So, my pick, Jaden Daniels starts, the Commanders win. My pick, if Marcus Mariota starts when we find out at game time, the Commanders will lose. And that's how I'm going to review this upcoming opponent of the week, because that Bears defense you cannot take lightly. But the only way that you can compete with it is if you go for shootout, for shootout, for shootout each and every single drive. Points for points with Caleb Williams, because that's exactly how you're going to have to do it. And you're going to have to try to do it that way if Marcus Mariota is your starting quarterback. But you're going to have to execute it if you are Jaden Daniels, which he has done a great job of not making many mistakes this season. Keep your fingers crossed that the kid is healthy enough to play this Sunday, as I will myself. With that being said, let's go ahead and take this into the final drive of episode 30 and get ready to wrap this up before one eventful weekend for myself in the final drive.
We bet on ourselves, so what you expect? A diehard fan of a never regret. Yes, sir.
My closing thoughts on the Commanders heading into week 8 are this. I'm going to repeat the same sentiments I have from this past segment. I really, really hope Jaden Daniels plays. But I also only hope that he plays if he is ready to go and they don't put him out there too soon. I remember having the same feeling when the playoffs started in 2012 with RG3. Yes, it's a totally different scenario. We were still in season now, and it's only right around the midway point now. Okay. We're still like another week off from it being the true midway point, but we are approaching that with this game taking place. If you have to sit him, I'll repeat this sentiment from earlier too. If you have to sit Jaden Daniels this week, I am not going to be upset as someone who is traveling to Northwest Stadium 2.5 plus hours from my house to go watch them this weekend. I was really looking forward to going and watching Jaden Daniels, and I hope I still have that opportunity to do so. But again, if Marcus Mariota plays and the team loses, I'm not going to be upset, because still witnessed a game in person during a season in which they've enjoyed success and a major improvement from what they were last year. Remember, I was still covering this team when they were 4-13 last year on all the same networks you're watching this show on right now. Okay. Was still covering them when they absolutely sucked. Have no problem with admitting that. Have no problem with covering a team when they suck. I mean, it was miserable. I didn't enjoy doing that each and every week, but sometimes you got to do things you don't enjoy fully in order to make it through. And I still enjoy this team in the history that I've had at certain points throughout, but the years in which they aren't that good, 6-10s, the 3-13s from back in the day, the now 4-13 from last season, it makes it tough. But you can kind of rebound from that when you have a solid start to a season like you do in a year like this. And just to be a part of it one way or another as a fan or as someone covering them on a podcast on these platforms, it is fun to be a part of it. Look forward to sharing the news. I still haven't had a chance this week because of all the work I've had to do with my main job and getting ready for this weekend, that I haven't been able to reach out to one of my team members over at Team MBS Media, Ms. Christy Love, who's definitely going to be watching this game and covering this game and has been covering a lot of great things and producing a lot of great content for the Chicago Bears in these past seasons for Team MBS Media. Look forward to throwing some messages out there here this weekend. I got one more work night to get through. I got to go to work after I end this show here shortly. I'll be heading to work within the next hour, and we'll be there till about 3 or 4 in the morning. But then when that shift of me being on call, because I'm usually off on Fridays, but I'm on call tonight, when that shift ends and I'm back home, I am off for 9 days. You're going to see a little bit of influx of some content produced. I'm going to get the exact date and time figured out for the D. Willie and the evening show to come back, the comedy show on Sartoba Media. There's a lot of things that I've got in play for this upcoming week, as well as some things I'm going to be doing, which one of them includes going to this Commanders game on Sunday. So I'm going to enjoy the weekend. I'm going to enjoy some of the other things I got to do on this somewhat of a staycation this upcoming week. Got to do some adulting, but I've also got some things worked in to do some podcast work and some editing and some production stuff that I need to prepare for upcoming things in this time. So I'm going to stay busy during this week off, but also recharge the batteries at the same time. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to bringing some great content from this game on Sunday, regardless of who starts, who wins or loses. At the end of the day, I'm going to have some great content for you, the viewer, on this show next week, as well as Total Football Talk on Monday. And who knows, might be able to drop some shenanigans from this actual trip on D. Willie in the evening when that first comes back, with the shenanigans at bay at some point. And I'll announce that next week. But here and now, the announcement that I have for this show is that we are about to come to a close. The one thing I am a little sad about is we had a live episode, and this is the first time in quite a while that we have not had any comments throughout a live show. And I will at least acknowledge this show is at least going on right now during a time that it's not supposed to be scheduled for. Normally it's Tuesdays at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time, but a lot of things between professionally and personally have kept me from being able to do that. So that's why you've been seeing me Fridays, whether it's 3:00 in the afternoon or 7. I'm just doing my best to at least get the content out there. And each and every week, I'm still getting the content out there. It's just not at the time I would like to do or as originally advertised. But with that being said, my Friday of podcasting has come to a close. Total Football Talk Extra episode number 8 was earlier today. You could check that out. That was produced at 5:05 p.m. Eastern time for about an hour and a half before I got on this show. And then we have this one right here, Commanders Gridiron Report. I appreciate you all tuning in as always throughout the program, as we have now discussed the Commanders crushing the Panthers in a 40-7 win at home on October 25th, 2024. And as always, I got one major thing to say to you before we get on out of here, and that is we've got one badass outro to watch on our way out. And one final message. Please, as always, stay safe out here in these streets.
Commanders, where my soldiers, right side, Commanders, where my soldiers, left side, Commanders, where my soldiers, watch the middle, Commanders, where my soldiers, now we step, where my soldiers, right side, Commanders, where my soldiers, left side, now we step, where my soldiers, watch the middle, Commanders, where my soldiers,
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
You don't have to go home, but you got to get yourself on up out of here. Episode 30 of the Commanders Gridiron Report has come to a close. And remember, as always, stay safe out here in these streets.